It is still completely dark outside. No sunlight, no movement. Most of the world is still asleep. Then, suddenly, cock-a-doodle-doo. A rooster announces the morning before the morning has even arrived. For thousands of years, humans treated that sound like nature's alarm clock. But there is something strange about it. If roosters crow because they see the sunrise, why do they often begin while the sky is still pitch black? They are not simply reacting to light. Somewhere inside their bodies, a clock is already counting down to dawn. So if it isn't the sunlight, what is telling them when morning is coming? Let's figure it out right here on Unlogic. For centuries, the obvious explanation seemed correct. Sunrise wakes the rooster. The first rays of light hit its eyes. Its body recognizes that a new day has begun, and it responds by crowing. It sounds perfectly logical. Except farmers noticed that roosters often started crowing long before the sun appeared. Sometimes they began nearly 2 hours before dawn, when there was barely any visible change in the sky. If sunlight was the trigger, the rooster was somehow reacting to light that had not arrived yet. To test what was really happening, researchers in Japan placed roosters inside controlled rooms where they could manipulate the lighting. At first, the birds experienced a repeating schedule: 12 hours of bright light followed by 12 hours of dim light. The roosters quickly followed the pattern. They began crowing shortly before the bright light switched on, almost as if they had learned when their artificial sunrise was coming. Then, the researchers removed the sunrise completely. The roosters were kept under constant dim light. There was no morning brightness, no sunset, and no visual signal showing what time of day it was. Yet the birds continued crowing at roughly the same time every day. The sunrise was not starting the crow, the rooster was predicting it. But that raises another question. If the sunrise isn't causing the crow, then what is? Inside the bird is a biological timing system, known as a circadian rhythm. This internal clock helps control sleep, activity, hormones, and daily behavior. It continues running even when the outside world provides no obvious clue about the time. Light still matters because it helps adjust and reset the clock. But the famous pre-dawn crow is largely driven from within. The rooster's body prepares for morning before its eyes ever see the sun. But that creates another mystery. If every rooster has a similar internal clock, why doesn't an entire flock erupt at exactly the same moment? Because a flock is not a democracy. Roosters live within a strict social hierarchy known as a pecking order. At the top is the dominant rooster. He controls territory, gets priority around resources, and usually has the first right to crow in the morning. The others know their position. When dawn approaches, the dominant rooster begins. Lower-ranking birds wait, then crow afterward according to their place in the hierarchy. The second-ranked rooster follows the leader, then the next one joins, creating what sounds like a noisy argument but is actually a surprisingly organized sequence. Remove the dominant rooster, and the system does not collapse. The next bird in the hierarchy moves up and begins crowing first. The morning call is not only about time, it is also a public announcement of rank. But is the morning crow the only reason roosters make so much noise? Roosters also crow throughout the day. They may use the sound to claim territory, answer nearby roosters, warn the flock, or react to disturbances. But the regular crowing around dawn combines two powerful systems: an internal clock telling the bird that morning is near, and a social order deciding who gets to announce it first. So a rooster is not simply screaming because sunlight touched its eyes. Before dawn appears, its body is already preparing for the day. Then, the highest-ranking bird steps forward and broadcasts a message to the flock and every rival within hearing distance. Morning is coming. This territory is occupied, and the king is already awake. This is Unlogic.